Hey friends, I have a question for you. Imagine being locked in a room with only two things to pass the time: a thick book and your mobile phone with internet access. Now tell me honestly, with whom would you choose to spend your time in that room? Chances are most of you would opt for your mobile phone. After all, it's what we do every day, right? We have a book somewhere, but let's face it, we rarely ever read it. Instead, we spend our time on our mobile phones, scrolling through social media and consuming endless content. But let's take it a step further and make things a little more interesting. What if I take your mobile phone away? Now, you're left with only one thing to pass the time. The book. Will you read it? Well, the probability of you picking up that book would increase significantly. In fact, you might even start enjoying it. This is the power of books. They have the ability to captivate us, engage our minds, and transport us to different worlds. In today's world, we are constantly bombarded with overstimulation. Our mobile phones, the internet, and social media have become our go-to sources of entertainment. We don't want to be bored even for half an hour, a few minutes. We find ourselves entranced by these billion and trillion-dollar companies who are constantly creating new products to keep us hooked and eliminate any possibility of boredom. But this overstimulation comes at a cost. It creates problems for us, such as difficulty focusing, anxiety disorders, and even sleep disturbances. Many of us may already be experiencing some of these issues. So my friends, if you find yourself caught in the trap of overstimulation, take a step back and consider the power of a good book. Embrace the moments of solitude and allow yourself to indulge in the written word. You may just find that it brings you a sense of peace, focus, and enjoyment that no mobile phone or social media platform can ever replicate. Trust me, you don't want to miss today's video. I know some of you may get bored easily and ask for shorter videos. But hear me out, this video has the potential to completely change your life. Let me explain why. As a 90s kid, I remember watching shows on TV for half an hour. However, out of that time, only 10 minutes were dedicated to the actual show, while the remaining 20 minutes were filled with ads. Surprisingly, despite the boring ads, I still enjoyed those shows immensely. I had no other options, so I sat through the ads and eagerly awaited my favorite parts. But times have changed. With the advent of the internet, we now have countless ways to pass the time. YouTube, in particular, has become a hub for videos of various lengths. However, I've noticed a trend of 1-minute videos that stretch out to 10 or even 15 minutes, often featuring two videos playing simultaneously. It's an overload of information and stimuli that can be overwhelming. This overstimulation is causing a lot of problems. That's why today's video is incredibly important. I'm going to provide solutions to these issues, and I'll do it through an interesting story. I usually don't make such requests, but I implore you to watch this video until the end. It will be truly life-changing. Now let's dive into the story. Meet Sahil and Sanjay, two friends. Sahil is a young and ambitious boy who recently landed a job. In 3 months, he will be assigned a new project. The catch is that he must complete this project, no matter what. Not only that, but he also has to excel at it. As Sahil faces this immense challenge, you'll witness his journey and the lessons he learns along the way. This story will provide insights and strategies that can be applied to your own life. By the end of the video, you'll have a clearer understanding of how to tackle your own projects and achieve success. So please, I urge you to watch this video till the end. It will truly be a life-changing experience. Trust me on this. Sahil has found himself in a challenging position at work. He's been told that if he can't overcome his tendency to become easily distracted and disengaged with his projects, he may lose his job. He's aware of the pattern within himself, where he starts off enjoying his work but gradually loses interest and struggles to produce the results expected of him. Realizing that his job is on the line, Sahil turns to his friend and colleague Sanjay for advice. Sanjay, who used to struggle with procrastination himself, tells Sahil about a book by a doctor that helped him overcome his own challenges. Impressed by Sanjay's transformation, Sahil decides to seek out the same doctor for a consultation. After a few weeks, Sahil finally has his appointment with Dr. Book. He is hopeful that the doctor will be able to provide him with the solution he so desperately needs. Sahil trusts Sanjay's recommendation and respects his opinion, so he's willing to do whatever it takes to improve his performance at work. Sahil's willingness to seek help and take action to address his struggles is commendable. It's a reminder that it's okay to ask for help when facing challenges, and that there are resources available to support us in achieving our best. With determination and the right guidance, Sahil is committed to turning things around and performing at his best. After meeting Dr. Book, Sahil pours his heart out, explaining how his project holds immense importance to him and his desire to excel in it. However, he feels helpless as he continuously falls into the trap of procrastination. Sahil spends hours on his phone, playing games and wasting precious time. Even after a few hours of work, this constant struggle leaves him feeling powerless and defeated. Desperate for guidance, Sahil pleads with Dr. Book, asking him for advice on what to do next. Dr. Book listens attentively to Sahil's struggles and then surprises him with unexpected advice. Don't do anything. This response leaves Sahil confused and uncertain about what Dr. Book means. Instead of offering an explanation, the doctor reaches for a book called The Practicing Mind from a nearby shelf. He explains to Sahil that this book contains many valuable insights, but there are 3 key points that hold the solution to his problems. However, Dr. Book sets a condition for Sahil. He must listen patiently, understand and apply these 3 things. Sahil eagerly agrees, promising to follow the doctor's instructions diligently. He requests Dr. Book to enlighten him about the first point. Dr. Book begins by discussing a quote by the ancient poet Juven, who wrote, "Give them bread and circus, and they will never revolt." In today's context, this translates to providing people with mobile phones, social media, and internet video games, ensuring they remain distracted and never improve themselves. Dr. Book emphasizes how these distractions have become the biggest hurdle in people's lives, making them the most bored generation in history. Furthermore, these distractions also contribute to widespread chaos. Listening to this, Sahil realizes the truth behind Dr. Book's words. He understands that he too has fallen into the trap of endless entertainment and wasted time. With a sense of clarity and purpose, Sahil begins to grasp the importance of overcoming his distractions. He realizes that he must break free from the cycle of boredom and focus on his project and personal growth. Dr. Book's wise words resonate deeply within Sahil, inspiring him to take action and become proactive in achieving his goals. As Sahil eagerly awaits the next 2 points, he feels a newfound determination and understanding. He is ready to embrace the teachings of the practicing mind and apply them to his own life. Dr. Book's guidance has given Sahil hope and a clear path forward. With patience and dedication, Sahil is confident that he will triumph over his distractions and achieve the success he yearns for. In this story, Sahil's struggles echo the challenges faced by many in today's digital age. Dr. Book's advice serves as a reminder to everyone to break free from the alluring distractions that hinder personal growth. By embracing focus, dedication, and a mindful approach, like Sahil, we too can conquer our own battles and achieve greatness in our endeavors. Many of the world's greatest discoveries and advanced scientific innovations have happened because of boredom. Take, for example, the story of Archimedes and the Eureka moment. Sahil, a curious mind, was unaware of this fascinating tale until Dr. Book brought it to his attention. Archimedes, an ancient Greek mathematician and physicist, was given a challenging task by the king of astronomy. The king presented Archimedes with a crown, claiming it to be his, but uncertain of its authenticity. He suspected that the crown was not made of 100% gold, and instead had some adulteration. Determined to uncover the truth, the king asked Archimedes to verify the purity of the gold. This was no easy task, as breaking or digging into the crown would have proven destructive, and there were no advanced machinery or techniques available at that time to determine if it was truly made of gold. Archimedes pondered over this conundrum extensively. Day and night his mind was filled with thoughts and ideas, yet he couldn't find a solution to the king's challenge. In the midst of his frustration, Archimedes decided to take a break and relax. As he entered his bath, something remarkable happened. The moment his body submerged into the water, he noticed a significant displacement of water. Suddenly it hit him. He had discovered the principle of buoyancy. The volume of water that spilled over the edge of the tub was equal to the volume of his body that entered the water. Overwhelmed with excitement, Archimedes realized that this principle could be applied to solve the king's problem. If he could measure the crown's volume and compare it to an equal volume of pure gold, he would be able to determine if it had any adulteration. This breakthrough sparked his intellect, filling him with an incredible sense of accomplishment. In his excitement, he dashed out naked, shouting, "Eureka, Eureka!" The story of Archimedes and his Eureka moment showcases how boredom can lead to extraordinary discoveries. When his mind was consumed by the problem at hand, Archimedes struggled to find a solution. However, it was in a moment of relaxation and detachment that inspiration struck, leading to one of his most significant contributions to the field of physics. From Archimedes' experience, we learned that sometimes we need to take a step back, clear our minds, and allow the answers to come to us. Boredom can ignite the spark of creativity and innovation, pushing us to think beyond conventional boundaries. So the next time you find yourself feeling bored, embrace it, for who knows what amazing discoveries lie just around the corner. Maybe while he was taking a bath, the song Husen Tera Tauba Tauba was running through his mind, providing him with stimulation, just like how Nikola Tesla got the idea of alternating current while walking in a park. This individual was simply drawing random things with a stick in the mud, but suddenly a vision of alternative current came to him, which turned out to be one of the most important developments in electrical engineering. Similarly, J.K. Rowling got the idea for the Harry Potter series during a train journey. The train was delayed, and she was getting bored. It was in that moment of ennui that she started imagining the interesting world of Harry Potter, which has now become one of the most successful books in history. Even Einstein attributed his groundbreaking ideas to moments when he was bored or not thinking much. He would daydream, and it was through these flights of fancy that he found immense value. This brings us to the point that imagination is more important than knowledge. Knowledge is limited to what we currently know and understand, but imagination strives to explore and understand beyond those limitations. A certain Dr. Book was discussing these ideas with a young man named Sahil. Sahil, however, interrupted him and questioned the relevance of these anecdotes to his own project. He expressed that he didn't have much time for such musings and needed a quick solution. In response, Dr. Book smiled and explained the problem with seeking instant validation in everything. In today's world, we often desire instant gratification, whether it's food in 2 minutes or a quick solution to our problems. But let us remember that these quick fixes are not always beneficial in the long run. So Sahil, it is important to recognize that while seeking a fast solution to your project may seem appealing, taking the time to explore your imagination and think outside the box can lead to truly innovative ideas and meaningful solutions. Are you a fan of those quick and easy meals like 2-minute Maggie or fast food? They may taste delicious in the moment, but have you ever stopped to think about the long-term impact on your health? It's true, these convenient foods may satisfy your cravings, but they are definitely not good for you in the long run. You see, just like Sahil here, many of us lack patience when it comes to making healthy choices. We want instant solutions for everything, without realizing the consequences. But let me tell you a story about the incredible wild effie tree found in South Africa. This majestic tree possesses roots that go deep into the ground, as far as 400 feet. Can you believe it? These roots are even stronger than the famous Apple Tower. And do you know why this tree is able to survive and thrive? It's because of its deep-rooted foundation, allowing it to access water from deep below the surface, even during drought conditions. While other plants wither away, this tree thrives because of its strong roots. Now here's the problem with our mindset today. We constantly seek instant gratification and quick fixes, just like trying to grow a tree with weak roots. We expect results without giving things enough time to develop. It's like throwing powerful tree seeds on the ground and expecting fruits to magically appear, but it just doesn't work that way. Even if I were to give you a solution in just 3 direct steps, it wouldn't make a difference. Why? Because you lack the patience needed to implement those steps and bring about lasting change. You need to give time for the seed of your goals and aspirations to grow. Just like the wild Eevee tree, you need deep roots that firmly anchor you to your dreams. So, my friend, I urge you to listen patiently and embrace the importance of patience. It may not provide instant results, but believe me, it will be worth it in the end. Don't settle for quick fixes that harm your long-term health. Instead, focus on building a strong foundation, nurturing your goals, and allowing them to flourish over time. Remember, the most beautiful trees are the ones that have grown slowly and developed deep roots. Take inspiration from the wild Eevee tree and let your patience be the guiding force in your journey towards a healthier and more fulfilling life. I know that what I'm saying might seem a bit boring, but trust me, it's actually laying the foundation for your understanding. Just like the roots of a tree, this knowledge will help you grow and eventually bear the fruits of your dreams. Even though I could summarize all this in just a few lines, it wouldn't actually help you. Let me share a story with you. In 2014, a study was conducted by the University of Central London to explore whether having a board makes people more creative. The participants were divided into 2 groups. One group had to copy numbers from a phone book by hand, while the other group only had to read the numbers. Both tasks were boring, but that was just the first stage of the study. In the second stage, the participants were asked to come up with as many creative uses for a brick as they could think of. The results were quite surprising. The group that had less boredom from the simple task of copying numbers was able to generate more creative ideas for using a brick. They were actively engaged in the task, leading to a longer list of creative ideas. So the next time you find yourself feeling bored or impatient, remember that it's all part of the process. Just like NASA learned to develop patience, you too can cultivate that trait. The seeds of understanding may be sown during these seemingly mundane moments, but they will eventually bear the fruits of your dreams. Keep nurturing your roots, and your tree will grow strong. Sahil asked, "What do we mean by this?" Dr. Book replied, "It is simple. Boredom increases creativity, and creativity is one of the most important skills, especially in today's time. Tasks that can be repetitive or done by AI and machines in the future will be taken care of. But the true skills that will help humans move forward are the creative ones. The problem is that our creativity is deteriorating because we are learning not to be bored," Dr. Book explained. All of humanity's problems stem from man's inability to sit quietly in a room alone. First of all, you should start getting bored consciously. Sahil responded, "Okay, sir. I think you have put it deep enough, and I understood that I should be bored. But how should I do this? Can you tell me some practical steps?" Dr. Book replied, "Yes, I will give you 3 practical steps. And the first one is to fix your boring hours. Sahil, you should spend some time every day and consciously decide to be bored. Stay away from stimulation, especially from your mobile phone. And the hours you set will be called boring hours. In these hours, eliminate all distractions, especially phone, social media, video games, things you use a lot. Replace them with books or any other activities that may seem boring to you. Even better, if you do nothing for some time, that will also work. This method may seem strange, but it is a way to train your brain to be comfortable with being bored. By doing so, you may find yourself unlocking new levels of creativity and problem-solving abilities. So Sahil, give it a try and see where it leads you. Are you someone who immediately reaches for their phone upon waking up each morning? If so, it might be time to consider implementing a new rule into your morning routine. Instead of diving straight into the digital world, challenge yourself to go at least 2 to 3 hours without using your mobile phone. Use this time to purposefully engage in activities that aren't highly stimulating, allowing your brain to detox from the constant dopamine hit of scrolling through social media or checking emails. According to Dr. Book, when you intentionally allow yourself to get bored, your mind naturally begins to organize and clarify your thoughts. This period of boredom can lead to greater self-understanding and better insight into the world around you, something that is often neglected in the hustle and bustle of today's fast-paced society. Sahil, a patient of Dr. Book, expressed his willingness to implement this rule into his morning routine. However, when he asked about the next steps, Dr. Book advised him to wait and be patient. The doctor emphasized the importance of applying this first step before moving on to the next, highlighting that it's not enough to simply know what to do. It's crucial to put it into practice. While Sahil struggled with his impatience, he ultimately agreed to give it a try and promised to return in 3 days to discuss the next steps. The message was clear. It's essential to show patience and dedication to the process before expecting results. So if you find yourself reaching for your phone first thing in the morning, consider taking a step back and giving yourself some time to be bored. Who knows, it might just lead to a newfound sense of clarity and self-understanding. There's no harm in trying, right? The doctors, taking a break from their clinic, are strolling through the garden when they call Sahil, and their conversation begins. Sahil shares how he has started making changes in his daily routine by putting aside his mundane activities. He stopped using his mobile phone for 2 hours, after waking up in 3 hours before sleeping, and although he admits it's been challenging, he's beginning to see positive changes. Dr. Book encourages Sahil, saying that these small changes are just the beginning, and if he sticks with it for a month, he will see significant improvements. However, Sahil interjects, expressing his frustration with his work project. He is struggling to achieve the results he desires in order to get a promotion and a salary increase. Dr. Book responds by asking Sahil to observe the cherry blossom tree and focus on a falling leaf. He encourages Sahil to carefully watch the leaf as it falls and moves through the air, eventually landing at his feet. He then asks Sahil to reflect on what was going through his mind while he was concentrating on the falling leaf. Sahil admits that he was simply observing the leaf's movements and wondering about its path. Dr. Book explains that just as Sahil was fully engaged in observing the falling leaf, he needs to apply the same level of concentration and attention to his work project. By immersing himself in the process and focusing on the tasks at hand, Sahil can achieve the results he desires. The doctors assure Sahil that by staying committed to his new routine, on approaching his work with the same level of concentration he demonstrated while watching the falling leaf, he will start to see the changes he desires in both his personal and professional life. They encourage him to keep going and remain determined in pursuit of his goals. Have you ever experienced that feeling of pure fascination and excitement, even if only for a few seconds? That moment when everything simply falls into place, and you can't help but exclaim, "Eureka!" Well, imagine if you could feel that way not just for a few seconds, but for an extended period of time. That's what the doctor explained to Sil, urging him to embrace the incredible potential of our own minds. You see, when our minds are overstimulated, we tend to fixate on the outcome, constantly thinking about the results. Whether it's watching a suspenseful movie, playing a thrilling game, or even just imagining what will happen in the end, our focus is always on what comes next. But what if we could detach ourselves from this constant need for results? The doctor pointed out a simple, yet profound observation. When Sil was engrossed in looking at a leaf, he wasn't burdened by these thoughts. He was fully present, fully engaged without any worries about what might happen. And that's when the doctor posed an interesting question to Sahil. He challenged Sahil to concentrate fully on a leaf and will it to fall at his feet. If the leaf indeed fell, Sahil would receive a substantial reward. The catch? Sahil had to detach himself from the outcome. If he attached himself to the result, he would only feel stress and miss out on the joy of witnessing the leaf's descent. The doctor's point was clear. Most of us make the mistake of attaching ourselves to outcomes that we have no control over. We expend so much energy on the future and other people's actions, forgetting that our true power lies in focusing on what is within our control. So instead of fixating on uncertain outcomes, we should shift our attention to the things that are truly ours to control. Just like looking at the cards in our hands during a game, it's about cherishing the process rather than obsessing over the end result. By mastering this mindset, we can feel that same sense of fascination and exhilaration that we experience when we have our eureka moments. We can extend that feeling from a mere few seconds to minutes or even hours. Our minds have the incredible ability to immerse us in the present moment and bring us fulfillment that transcends fleeting results. So let's take heed of the doctor's wise words. Let's direct our energy towards what we can control, our thoughts, our actions, and our own perspective. Because when we release the need for immediate results and embrace the beauty of the process, we unlock a world of endless fascination and joy. As children, we are often taught to study with the sole purpose of achieving good marks. We believe that if we focus on the questions and try to understand how to answer them correctly, our results will automatically be favorable. However, this approach may actually be counterproductive. Janali, a curious student, raised her concerns to her teacher, Sahil. She expressed how difficult it was to focus on the process instead of fixating on the outcomes. She wanted to know how she could shift her mindset and truly embrace the idea of focusing on the journey rather than the destination. Sahil, having encountered this issue himself, shared a story from a book he had recently read. The book's author had once visited a Japanese piano factory and noticed a craftsman who specialized in making ion plates for pianos. This craftsman was renowned for producing the best plates in the entire factory. Intrigued, the author asked the craftsman how many plates he made in a day. The craftsman's reply bewildered the author and sparked a new understanding. He simply said, "I make as many plates as I can perfectly, and I do not count." Sahil explained to Janali the significance of the craftsman's response. The craftsman's focus was not on the quantity of plates he produced, but on the quality of each plate. By striving for excellence in every step of the process, the craftsman subconsciously achieved mastery and enjoyed the journey. As a result, he was able to create more plates than his colleagues who were solely focused on the outcome. The lesson here is that by shifting our focus from the end result to the process itself, we can excel in our endeavors and achieve better outcomes. Instead of fixating on the questions, Janali should concentrate on understanding the process of finding the answers and why they are formulated in a certain way. By taking a genuine interest in the process, she will naturally remember the answers and improve her results. Sahil reassured Janali that, although it may be challenging at first, by consciously redirecting her attention to the journey, she will develop a sense of mastery and enjoyment in her studies. He encouraged her to see studying as an opportunity for growth and self-discovery rather than a means to an end. In conclusion, focusing on the process rather than the results can lead to greater success. Like the craftsman in the piano factory, by prioritizing excellence in each step, we unconsciously improve our skills and achieve better outcomes. Janali, just like anyone else, can embrace this mindset and transform her approach to studying. By understanding the importance of the journey, she will unlock her true potential and achieve the results she desires. Sahil repeated what the doctor had said. "I mean, don't think about craft made. Just focus on your process, right?" He was seeking practical advice on how to apply the doctor's examples to his own life. Doctor Book replied with patience, "The second actionable step is the practice of mindful, single tasking. It's simple. Whenever you are doing any work, think completely about that work and keep your entire focus on it. It may seem simple, but it's difficult to do, which is why it's called mindful single tasking." He continued, "Start thinking about the interesting ways you can complete your project and the intention behind it. The intention should not be money, or promotion, but rather on how you can help the company and contribute to the project's success. Remove all distractions and conditions and simply enter into the project. Try to understand its inner beauty and focus on the tasks without worrying about the end result. If you crack this, you will enjoy the process and create good results. Sahil was a little confused, but he trusted the doctor's advice. He understood the importance of not succumbing to the pressure of the project and instead focusing on the process. He decided to practice this new approach by eliminating external pressures and focusing only on the task at hand. Sahil found that he could thoroughly enjoy the process of completing his projects. He was able to create better results and contribute to the company in a more meaningful way, though the doctor hinted at a way to further practice this approach. He stressed the importance of practicing it first. Sahil was determined to continue practicing mindful, single-tasking, and looked forward to further guidance in the third lesson. He started researching the project wholeheartedly to see how it could be made better by that company. After doing this, he met the doctor again, after 3 days, unlocking the practicing mind. As soon as the doctor saw Sahil, he asked him the question, "Do you know Michael Phelps?" Sahil said yes, the same one. He is one of the best swimmers in the world and has many gold medals. The Olympic doctor said, "Right, you know that Phelps's success is not just because of his natural talent. It is because of his very good body and all these things." No, but the secret of his success is his intense training routine. He practices every day, even on holidays, and sometimes even twice a day. He swims up to 80 kilometers every week. That guy hits thousands of strokes in a session with focus and precision. Now this routine is so boring and repetitive, but 99999 people will never do this thing, and Michael Phelps knows this thing. That is why he does more. He keeps repeating that boring thing, every stroke, every lap, his techniques, while perfecting, building endurance, and developing mental toughness. The reason is that many times, for example, in the Beijing Olympics of 2008, when they won, the difference between winning or not was a fraction of a second. But that fraction of a second, how that guy got years and years of discipline because of repetitive practice, because of boredom, because of doing boring tasks again and again, the doctor said. That book tells you how to unlock your practicing mind. You will have to make repetition your friend. Repeat things again and again. Dr. Buck shared an important insight with me, and I couldn't help but agree. Many times when he speaks to his patients or offers solutions, they perceive him as a disputer. It seems they are not satisfied with the repetitive advice he provides, as they were hoping for something new and exciting to hear. But they fail to realize that success lies in repetition. It's the ability to endure hearing the same thing multiple times that truly sets one apart. If you can withstand the monotony and stay committed to the process, you are on the path to success. Sile, a patient of Dr. Buck, smiled and admitted that she had heard his advice many times before. She initially hoped for something different, but then she realized that running away from repetition is only driven by boredom. She acknowledged that success is found in embracing the mundane and boring aspects of life. Dr. Buck emphasized the importance of consistency and intense focus, using archery as an example. Just like in archery, success in life requires executing every action with precision and concentration without wavering. This analogy resonated deeply, as it highlighted the journey from struggling to perform well to achieving accuracy and success. In light of Dr. Buck's valuable insights, it became clear that success is not always glamorous. It often lies in the repetition of mundane tasks and the ability to stay focused and consistent. So next time you hear the same advice for the 100th time, remember that it may be the key to unlocking your success. Do you ever feel overwhelmed by the pressure to achieve a certain outcome? Do you constantly worry about the end result and forget to focus on the process itself? If so, let me introduce you to a technique called do observe and correct. which can revolutionize the way you approach your goals. Imagine a skilled archer who never fixates on hitting the bullseye. Instead, he focuses solely on the present moment, the process of shooting the arrow. He pays attention to his stance, how he holds the bow, and regulates his breathing. As he prepares to release the arrow, this archer understands that success lies in the attention to detail during each step, rather than obsessing over the result. Once he releases the arrow, this archer enters the observation phase. He detaches himself emotionally from the outcome and simply observes the results without judgment. Whether he performed poorly or executed perfectly, he remains objective and analyzes his technique and how well he landed the arrow. This detached observation allows him to see things clearly and make unbiased assessments. The final step in this technique is the correction phase. Based on his observations, the archer makes small adjustments in real time. If he notices that his grip was a little loose, he tightens it. If his breathing was too fast, he slows it down. Every shot is an opportunity to refine and improve his technique. This continuous process of observation and correction ensures constant progress and growth. Now let's relate this technique to our own lives. When working on a project, we often get caught up in overthinking and planning. The key is to just start, to take action, and dive into the task at hand. Whether it's coding, writing, or any other endeavor, begin without hesitation. Start doing and then shift your focus to observing your performance. Observe without judgment, just like the archer. Look at the outcome, evaluate your technique, and see if there are areas to improve. Did you hit the mark? Did you stumble along the way? By remaining objective, you can identify exactly what needs adjustment. Finally, take action based on your observations. Make those minor corrections, just as the archer did. Tighten your grip, adjust your pace, or change your approach. This process of continuous observation, correction, and action is the key to progress and success. Remember, the most crucial step is to start. Don't get caught up in endless planning and overthinking. Just begin, immerse yourself in the process, and then objectively observe and correct along the way. By following the do, observe, and correct technique, you can unlock your full potential and achieve remarkable results in any endeavor. Have you ever noticed when your mind works the most? Is it when you are bored, interested, or enjoying what you're doing? And what about when you feel like giving up? These are important things to observe and correct. When you're feeling bored or stuck, it's important to start changing things. If you're not able to understand something, take a break and come back to it. Keep correcting yourself like this. Yes, this process may seem boring, but it's only through the boring work that we can achieve the best results. Sahil found all these things quite interesting and asked a few more questions before leaving. The doctor then said something quite profound, that he could have simply given a quick solution in 30 seconds, but he deliberately prolonged the explanation to emphasize the importance of the process. The doctor's advice was simple: focus on the process, not just the end results. Unlock your practicing mind in 3 steps. Observe, correct, and change. The doctor acknowledged that he deliberately made the process a little boring, but it was necessary for the information to stick in Sahil's mind. By taking the time to explain things thoroughly, the doctor increased the probability that Sahil would be able to apply the advice effectively in the future. So even though it may seem boring at times, there is a reason behind it. The clarity and coherence of the process will stay with you and increase your ability to apply what you've learned. It's a reminder that the most important and impactful lessons often come from the most mundane and seemingly boring tasks. Keep at it even when it feels boring, because in the end it will yield the best results. Are you feeling overstimulated because of the endless reels and content on your phone? It's like being in a closed room and being given the choice between a book and a mobile. Most people would choose the mobile, right? But what if I told you that taking the time to read a book or engage in a boring task could actually benefit you in the long run. You see, sometimes the things that seem boring or uninteresting are the ones that actually have the power to change our lives. When we give ourselves the time to delve into deeper, more foundational knowledge, we open ourselves up to new possibilities. Just like Sahil, who initially found my talks boring and decided to consume less reels and more books and discussions about books. He took the time to really absorb and understand the content I was sharing. And guess what? After 3 months, Sahil came back to me with boundless happiness. Despite initially struggling, he followed my advice and took the time to focus on the things that engaged his mind. And the results: he saved his job, got a promotion, and received a higher salary than he expected. You see, the Sahil in the story is within all of us. In a time where everyone is seeking instant gratification, it's important to understand that deliberately engaging in slightly boring or stretching activities can actually keep our minds engaged and lead to greater success in the long run. It's not about stimulating your mind. It's about intentionally pushing yourself to feel a little bored so that you can truly apply yourself and achieve meaningful results. So the next time you find yourself reaching for your phone and craving the instant gratification of reels and short videos, consider taking a step back and engaging with something that may seem boring at first. Who knows? It could be the key to unlocking your fullest potential. Hey there, fellow book lovers. I have something important to share with you today. You see, my goal is not just to gain a bunch of views on my videos. No, if that were the case, I would solely concentrate on creating short, attention-grabbing content. My true aim is to go beyond that. I want to take you on a journey into the depths of books, uncovering their hidden gems and revealing the amazing things that lie beneath the surface. I believe that books have the power to change our lives as long as we truly understand and appreciate them on a deeper level. If you resonate with my vision and you're seeking something meaningful that will bring about a positive change in your life, then I encourage you to subscribe to my channel. I must warn you, though, that my videos might not always be fast-paced and exciting. Sometimes they can be a little boring, but trust me, these are the moments when life truly opens up to you. So let's embrace the possibility of being a little bored together, because within that boredom lies the potential for growth. There may be times when you feel challenged or even uninterested, but that's where the magic happens. It is through those seemingly mundane moments that we often experience the most profound transformations. Now I want to hear from you. Share your thoughts and opinions on the topics I cover in the comments section below. Your input is invaluable and will enhance our discussions. Stay tuned for the next video where I'll be diving into a new story. Until then, take care. And remember, there's so much more to books than meets the eye. Bye for now.